What's going on, guys? My name is lextasY, and today I'm going to take you on a little trip and show you how I got screwed on a car deal. Badly. So without further ado, let's go. And by the way, guys, before I even start, I just want to let you know at 10,000 subscribers, I'm going to wrap the GTR. So the sooner we get there, the better. So definitely tell your cousins, your friends, your neighbors, your uncle, your aunt, everybody about the channel. Tell them to subscribe. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it's going to look like, but I promise you're going to love it. So let's get the story started. And believe me, you want to stay till the end. So anyways, the story starts this way. It was about 5-6 months ago. It was late, middle September. And I was in the process of selling my 1,000 horsepower Hellcat Charger, and I needed another daily car to drive. So I was in the market for $30,000 price range vehicle, and I always wanted to try Mercedes. I think Mercedes were awesome. They seemed like they're somewhat reliable. And yes, I read some bad stuff about the ML models, but you know, when I thought of the ML63s, I figured they were done a little bit differently and they were more reliable. So I always wanted to try one out. And after looking for one for a long time, probably a good week or so, I finally narrowed it down to a place in Texas. And I'm not going to give the name out because I don't want to advertise for them for free after how they screwed me over. It was a 2011 ML63 with about 85,000 miles. It was the lowest mileage one I could find, literally on probably a 1,000-mile radius. By the way, the pictures that you're seeing posted right now are actually of the car, but from a previous company that I guess was selling it. Funny thing is, I can't even find the pictures from when I bought it at all. For some reason, when I typed the VIN into the Google, they're not there. They're magically not there at all. So that's strange. I've never had that issue before. So September 10th rolls around, which is a Monday, and I'm super excited. I just found the car of the weekend, so I get in touch with the guy. Let's call him Brian. So I texted Brian. Of course, they wouldn't pick up for some reason, and I told him, I was like, hey man, I'm really interested in that car. This would be one of those sight unseen. I know, but hear me out. This place sells Lamborghinis, Bentleys, Ferraris, so I had no reason to be really worried about the quality of the car, or at least I thought so. So I get in touch with Brian, and we start talking and tell him like, hey, I'm really interested. I want to purchase this car. Send me like a walk around video. Send me some numbers with taxes and everything. Let's see what kind of numbers you guys are offering, and if it's even worth for me to do it, because you're all the way out in Texas, Houston, Texas, actually. But I'm definitely interested, and let's just get to talking. So there was a lot of red flags. I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys that I should have paid attention to. I didn't. My fault. I mean, I can't blame nobody but myself for that, but there is some things that, of course, just I couldn't control and would have never known about. So he sends me a walk around video. Here's the first red flag. The walk around video is of him in this big warehouse where they had about 40-50 cars. Lights are completely off inside, and he sends me a video of him walking around the car, which is blocked in by other cars, nice cars for that matter. And he sends me a video of him walking around the Mercedes, doing a little interior picture as well, which he doesn't really turn on the lights inside of the car either. And the first thing I see, because it's so pitch black, is that on the dashboard there is a little light on. It's not a check engine light on, but it's a light that says, you know, hey, there's I think it was like the headlights malfunction or something, like a light bulb went out or anything. So I told him, I'm like, hey man, if you could send me a video of you walking around the car so I could see it better. He says, yeah man, no problem. One day rolls around, I don't get anything. Finally I get in touch with him again. I'm like, hey man, still haven't heard anything from you. Would love to know what's going on. So if you could, please send me, you know, a walk around video. So he finally sends me pictures of the car parked outside. They literally just washed it, so you know, that kind of can't see anything on the paint whenever it's completely wet. Anyways, everything seems legit. I asked him multiple times. I was like, hey, is the car driving well? I mean, is there any issues whatsoever with it? And I wish I had the text message to show you. But his response was, no man, this car's in absolutely perfect condition. It's been great taken care of. Carfax is clean. I said, okay, well, has any preventive maintenance been done? Oil changes, things like that. He told me that, you know, we don't have a shop, so we can't really do that. We've just done we got the state inspection done, that way we can sell it to you, and that's about it. So after, you know, looking at the numbers, it was $24,881 for the car. We agreed on, of course, there's taxes, and I told him I'll split the shipping, so I'll pay $450, he'll pay $450. So out the door, I was looking at $25,565 and 94 cents. So we agreed on everything. I get in touch with my bank. It's like a Thursday, I think, afternoon. And I told them, hey, I'll be in touch. My bank will just send you a check directly and we'll get this going. Friday comes around and I'm like, hey, by the way, are you going to fix that light before you ship it out to me? And also the bank is about to mail you the check. He says, oh, let me check. 2 hours pass by and I get in touch with him again. And his response is, well, actually, the car's already left, man. They already shipped it out to you. I was like, well, that's great. I mean, you guys haven't even got the check yet, but the car's gone. And he said, yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, the light bulb, I wish you fixed it. I apologize. But yeah, the car's on the way to you. You'll probably get it tomorrow. I was super impressed that they would ship out a car before they even got paid for it. Red flag number 2 that I should have paid attention to. So Saturday afternoon rolls around and the transporter truck comes and parks right over here. It's actually the same place where I work at. And he shows up, they unload the car. I sign off on the bill of sale or the bill of lading, whatever it's called. And as soon as I get in it, I mean, I do see more scratches than I thought that was on the car. No big deal. It had a really nice 22-inch wheels on it, of course, as you see in the picture. So literally I drove it about, I don't know, I would say 100 yards. I started realizing that the car's got some sort of a small issue, I thought. It feels like it was misfiring or jerking on under low RPMs. Maybe a transmission issue, but I couldn't believe that because, I mean, literally, you know, the guy told me the car's in perfect condition. All right, so now we've driven another, I would say another 200 yards or so. And at this point, I parked the car right next to where the GTR is, right in front of it. If I can Photoshop it in there, that'll be perfect. But anyways, I start realizing there's definitely an apparent issue with this car. How serious it is, I have no idea. But I texted him, I was like, hey man, I think there's an issue with this car, this transmission, a misfire, but I want to kind of put it back on the truck. This guy calls me immediately, Brian or whatever his name is, and he says, hey man, no, don't stress it, don't panic, man, everything's fine with the car. How about this, man? It's Saturday, get it checked out Monday or whenever you get a chance to. It's probably a small issue, man, and we'll talk to the owner and see if we can pay for it or something, get it taken care of, but there's no problem with this car whatsoever. So here's the red flag number 3. Whenever I parked the car after I got off the phone with that guy, I started looking around. I noticed the car is really dirty. Interior never was clean, never was detailed. There's stains everywhere. I find jumper cables in the back. I find an old pair of sneakers, I think it was Nike sneakers, laying there underneath the little cargo cover. I mean, this car was not taken care of, so I texted the guy as well and let him know that, but of course no response. But at this point, to be honest with you, I really wanted the car. I mean, it looked nice on those 22-inch wheels. Interior was nice. It had the entertainment system. It had everything that I wanted. And for $25,000, I felt like it was a great deal. So Monday morning rolls around and I get in touch with my buddy Zeke that works at International Auto Works. By the way, great place to get your German car worked at. And so I tell him, hey man, I'm having a kind of an issue with this ML63. I know you guys specialize in all this. Tell me what is going on with this. See if you can figure it out. So he says they're a little bit busy, so it takes about 2-3 days to get in. Finally, they get the car into the shop, and it takes another 2-3 days to figure out what is going on with this thing. Turns out the list is way bigger than I thought. So after test driving it tons of times, the repair order states the engine transmission diagnostic check traced main concern to misfire, actually a transmission shutter from the torque converter fault. Found several service bulletins concerning the issue. We'll need to perform steps of inspection, service, program updates, repair, blah, blah, blah. Drained sample of automatic transmission fluid from trans, found fluid heavily discolored and burned. Trans replacement is recommended. Also, on top of that, he wrote down that oil leak at the rear of motor, looks like the oil pan sealant needs to be replaced, as well as you got rear struts that need to be replaced. Rear struts I didn't know was an issue. I figured it was just because of the 22-inch wheels that they were just, you know, kind of a rough ride, but it did have air suspension. Now it all makes sense. So just without the transmission work-wise, just doing the rear struts and the oil leak, $4,000 bill. So at this point, I am pretty pissed off myself. Clearly, there's a little more than just a slight issue. What I thought was maybe a misfire, which could be spark plugs or anything like that. Now we're looking at at least a torque converter to a transmission, which does not sound cheap whatsoever, especially in a German car that's an AMG. So the first thing I do, of course, is call my local Mercedes dealership to figure out how much is a torque converter or how much is a transmission. None of those sound too cheap, especially being that it's a Mercedes and it's an AMG. So I knew I was about to get myself into a lot of trouble. So I called the local Mercedes dealership and they quoted me $8,444 for the transmission, and those numbers are actually good only if the core itself is good, which is the transmission. Turns out you cannot buy the torque converter by itself. It has to come together with the transmission. Reason for that is, of course, because you can't program the torque converter by itself. You can't sell it by itself. You have to buy the whole transmission. It gets better. By the way, if you like what you're seeing right now, guys, definitely smash that like button and subscribe to this channel. So much good content coming. Thank you for all your support. So it turns out transmissions like these for an AMG vehicle are never kept in stock, and it would take them 2 to 3 months to get one in, all the way from Germany. That does not sound cheap whatsoever. So right now I'm already looking at $4,000 just to do the struts and do the oil pan leak. I'm looking at $8,000 or $8,500 to get a new transmission and a torque converter, and that's not even programming the new transmission or getting it installed, which would be another, I think they said about $1,500 to $2,000. So now I'm at $14,000 to $15,000 bill. I am livid at this point. So I get all this information, all the receipts, all the bills that I have, and I call, of course, Brian at the dealership there, and he doesn't respond. Finally, I'm texting him, I'm calling him, and he says, you know what, he picks up and he tells me, hey, you just need to email this to us. So as soon as I get all these quotes, I emailed them and I said, estimate for Mercedes for a new transmission and torque converter is $84,4519, not including labor costs. These issues were apparent as soon as I drove the car off the transport truck. Like I've previously been stating, since it came to me in a condition not as described, someone clearly didn't take care of it, which means more problems will come up. I have offered to pay for shipping back to you and we canceled the deal. I have no interest in keeping the Mercedes. So as soon as I sent that email, about an hour and a half later, the owner calls me. I'm not even going to try to pronounce or begin to pronounce his name, but he calls me and says, hey man, yeah, I heard you're having issues with the car we just got, and he tells me, I think you need to get it looked at by a second shop because I think they're wrong, or you can also just ship it to us and I'll get my shop to repair it for you at no charge. And I told him that's funny because Brian, in the process of buying this car from you, told me that you guys don't have a shop. You can't even do an oil change. So what shop is this that you're talking of that all of a sudden can do a transmission job? He says, oh no, there's a shop that I have that I use. They're the ones that inspect my vehicles before sale and they can definitely get the job done, but you're gonna have to pay for shipping. At this point, I'm getting really pissed off at him and ask him, so is this the same shop that told you that this car's in good condition and you can go ahead and sell it? And you're also telling me that I'm gonna have to pay $1,000 to ship the car to you, pay another $1,000 to get it back if you hopefully fix it and not just try to cover up the issue. So he says, sounds like you're not interested in doing that, so go ahead and get it looked at by a second shop. Shop number 2, here we are. So now we're at Atra Transmissions. These guys literally specialize in anything and everything with the transmission, from German to Japanese to everything that you can think of, they can do it. So as soon as I call him and I explain my situation, he literally automatically tells me, man, I know exactly what you're going through and you, my friend, are pretty much screwed. So I drop off the car. It takes him a few days as well of test driving, looking at it, plugging in the computer, and he calls me back and says, man, you definitely have a transmission issue. So at this point, I'm starting to realize I'm pretty much screwed and I got to figure a way out. So I talked to him about using a used transmission, which he tells me is a big no-no because you can't even put a used torque converter or use transmission in these cars because nobody will be able to program it or marry it to the car itself because that's the way Mercedes has it set up. So you have to get a new transmission, which unfortunately the price of that is, as we already know, is at least $8,500. And at that point, you might as well just get it done at Mercedes. Off to Mercedes we go. So after the second shop that I went to, I realized, you know, at this point, I just got to take it to Mercedes dealership. And I stopped by the local one that we have here at our place. And I pull in here and I ask him, like, look, man, you got to take a look at this car for me. It's been 3 weeks. I can't get this car figured out. Can you take a look at it so I can figure out if I need to send this car back to the dealership or not? And they tell me it's a 2-month-long waiting line to get in. So at this point, I have no idea what to do. I've already paid insurance for a month. My payment's about to be due. My first payment for the car that I haven't even driven yet. So at this point, I'm starting to realize I'm running out of options. So as my last resort, I figured I'm just going to give it a chance and see if there's any way they can help me out. I'm not waiting 2 months to figure out if they can even fix the car, what exactly is wrong with it. But I mean, if 2 out of the 2 shops have told me it's most likely the torque converter / transmission, I gotta do it. So I called the guy. Actually, I got a hold of the owner. First, I called Brian multiple times. He wouldn't answer. Finally, he gave me the phone number. He said that's the cell phone number to the manager or the owner, and it wasn't. It was just their main phone line. Finally, the owner calls me back, and I explained the situation and said, look, man, I get it, mistakes happen, but this wasn't a mistake because clearly you knew what was wrong with the car and you still sold it to me. It's not like I drove for 100 miles before I realized what the issue was. So you kind of screwed me out of this deal. At this point, I told him, look, man, I will pay for the shipping. I'll pay the $1,000 to ship it back to you. Take this car back. This guy pretty much tells me I'm not even going to cover half of it. I'm not going to do anything. You could pretty much screw yourself, word for word. So that was unbelievable from a dealership that sells Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Bentleys, exotics. I mean, they have cars that are $250,000 there. And you're going to do this to a customer, which you can clearly afford to take the car back and resell it or fix it, but because you don't want to put up with an issue you knew was there, you just decide to screw a customer because I'm out of state. From what I can tell, it actually backfired on you pretty badly, and we'll get into details in a second. At this point, I'm about 3 to 4 weeks into messing with this car. I've only put like literally maybe 30 to 50 miles on, and that's just driving it from shop to shop and getting them to test drive and trying to figure out what's wrong with it. I'm not getting any help from the dealership, so I just want to cut my losses and just trade this thing in with the Hellcat and just get myself something reliable. And here's where it gets better. I realize it's been almost a month and I don't even have the title yet to be able to trade this car in. Not even that, I haven't even been able to register this car. So for a split second, I actually get excited. And the reason for that is if I never got a title, that means the bank never got the title either. So there's no way they could put a lien or a loan on a vehicle of which they don't have a title to, because in the paperwork that I got from the bank, it strictly says that we need to have that title within 30 days or else the check gets null and voided and there is no contract. So I am ecstatic at this point, and I called the bank and I'm like, hey, look, I don't even have the title of this vehicle, so we're gonna have to figure this out. I mean, I clearly can't have this. You guys are gonna have to call the dealership. Now we're going on week 4 of messing with this stupid Mercedes ML63. The bank is calling the owner, I'm calling the owner, nobody's responding. They can't figure out where the title is. They won't even tell us where the title is. And according to when the bank calls them, they tell them, well, the owner is the one that also does all our titling and all the registration, and he handles all the paperwork, even though they have like 50 cars on their inventory. So how is it that one person does this? At this point, I'm starting to realize, look, either way we look at it, I've been completely screwed. They're not helping my case whatsoever. I just need to go ahead and just blow them up on everything. What I did is I literally went on every website you can think of, from Google reviews to Yelp to Yahoo to anything and everything, to be able to just literally blow them up. So I start calling all my friends at different dealerships that work in, you know, lawyers and things like that know a little bit more about these laws. Now they all tell me that you can get a lawyer and see if you can fight the case, but keep in mind you did sign the as is page, which says you're taking full responsibility of the car. Take it from my perspective, this is far beyond my responsibility. This is far beyond having minor issues that could be fixed, like the light bulb. This is a car that was not running from the moment I got it off the truck. I mean, it's literally a road hazard. There's no way that this car can pass any sort of inspection and be allowed to be driven on the road. So after speaking to my friends at different dealerships, they tell me that I need to file a complaint with Better Business Bureau, with Texas DMV, and of course the Federal Trade Commission, and tell them exactly what I went through. That not only was I sold a car that literally does not drive, but on top of that, I've never even got my title yet, and it's been over 30 days at this point, which is a big penalty in every state. So after a month and a half of nothing but headaches, I finally get my title. I finally register the car. I pay the property tax for no apparent reason, because I'm literally going to trade it as soon as I get the title in. Or so I actually show up to my friends here at Hendersonville Dodge store. They take my Hellcat in. They take my broken Mercedes. I told them there was an issue with it, so I wasn't hiding anything, and they actually took care of me. They gave me a brand new 2019 limited Ram 1500 for an insane deal, so I'm happy for that. Shout out to Dustin for taking care of me. The story doesn't end there, because now at this point it's been about a month and a half after I already traded in, and finally Texas DMV gives me a call, and they tell me that after doing their investigation, they found out that not only is that dealership going to get penalized for taking so long to get a title to me, but on top of that, the vehicle was sold under a dealership that was lapsed in their business registry of deeds, or whatever it's called. So that business wasn't even active when they sold it and did the paperwork to me. Now what sucks is, even though they've literally found all these issues with it, there's nothing they can do for me, and everything they're going to get penalized and fined for, all that money is going to go, of course, directly to the Texas state, not me. So at the end of the day, I lost, I would say, about $5,000–6,000 within a month and a half. What I want to say is, of course, inspect that. I don't care if it's a $1,000 car. I don't care if it's a $200,000 car. Do your research. Don't pay anybody. Don't sign any paperwork until you figured out and seen if this car is exactly what it's told it is, because this was a big nightmare for me for a month and a half. I didn't have a car to drive because the Mercedes was sitting there trying to get fixed. My Hellcat was at a consignment store in 2 hours away at a different city, so there was nothing that I had to drive. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you love this story. It sucks, and I wish it wouldn't happen to anybody. Comment to me, what's the worst situation you've ever been in? Something you wouldn't wish on anybody. And of course, subscribe to this channel, guys. It means a lot to me if you made it all the way through. By the way, at 10,000 subscribers, I'm actually going to wrap the GTR.